Okay, I have 203, so we can go ahead and get started. There's about 20 people viewing the presentation, so that's a pretty good number. And anyone else can come in. I guess they'll catch us as we're going through the presentation. First off, I want to start by thanking everyone for giving us your time to learn a little bit more about Progress 2020 and specifically the state of supplier diversity as it is today, June 18th, 2019. My name is Jamie White. I am the president of Diversity Reporting Solutions in partnership with Supplier as well as Salescocktail. Have created this initiative to essentially gather information and data around supplier diversity, which we feel will ultimately better the industry and help those who are looking to grow their supplier diversity programs, their business, if you are a small business, and things of that nature. I do want to pause for a second and introduce my presentation partner from Salescocktail, LeShane Greenhill. So if you want to take a couple words, introduce yourself, and then we can go ahead and.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Jamie, and thank you to everyone who has joined us today. As mentioned, my name is LeShane Greenhill. I'm the founder of Salescocktail. We work with companies and like to see more MWBEs embrace technology to help become more competitive and more efficient in what we do as an MBE. So I have been a certified MBE for several years. I've worked in this space for about 15 years, and I look forward to hearing more in this presentation and any questions you may have.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Introduction. Now, to start, we do have a few presentation goals that we do hope that everyone at the minimum leaves with in terms of educating yourself on whether it be supplier diversity, the term, or the industry and kind of some of the things that are going on with it. So as you can see, we're taking it from two perspectives, from a diverse supplier and a corporation perspective. That doesn't mean that if you're not either one, we do feel that you can still gain some good information from this presentation. These are kind of the two, I guess, high points or highlight types of businesses that we're looking at for today. So for the first, for diverse suppliers, we're looking to help you understand processes that can help improve your business. And for corporations, we are looking to introduce data and solutions to assist, as I mentioned before, in that supplier diversity department or your supplier diversity program growth. So to begin, we have to start at its core. What is supplier diversity? So as you can see, I posted a long term that pretty much talks, goes very specific in terms of what this industry is and what the term supplier diversity refers to. However, from a larger scale, essentially what we're talking about, large corporations, well, not just large corporations, I apologize, any business that is looking to procure from either a minority, woman-owned, LGBT, disabled, veteran, even a small business. So any type of diverse business or business that isn't known as a large corporation would fall in supplier diversity. Now, as you can see with the second point, the reason why supplier diversity, in particular in the past couple of years, has grown the way that it has, because there is a belief that the more a corporation buys from its local supplier, the more money is pumped into the local economy, which in turn will help consumers purchase from businesses, as well as increase talent for these corporations to hire better employees. So supply diversity benefits. So we look at it from two ways within this presentation: the consumer as well as the employee for a business. So as you can see, we'll just go straight to the bullet point. As logic goes, if 30% of your loyal customers are minorities, as an example, then your supply base should be reflective of that if possible. The reason being is because, as we mentioned previously, the more money that's pumped into the local economy, the more those consumers can purchase from your business. So it's really cyclical when you're talking about, if you're benefiting your economy, the economy can also purchase your goods or services. Next up employees. So really increasing that talent pool. So as you can see, we talk about a circular, almost symbiotic relationship between a business and the employees. And really, it's all about, again, supporting the local economy, supporting those small, those diverse businesses, and helping increase their talent pool, thereby increasing the type of suppliers that you're purchasing from, which is leading into you offering better goods and better services. So once again, we're really focusing in on when it comes to supply diversity, benefiting that local economy. And as you're increasing the amount of wealth that's being distributed into the economy, that also increases things such as talent, which can ultimately, you can hire, which will obviously benefit you as well. So even purchasing from a diverse business, maybe that, you know, person has kids that will ultimately, or may one day, work for you as well. So again, that whole circular symbiotic relationship. So the future of America, what does that look like? Well, let's talk about some, you know, specific data when it comes to supplier diversity. So I just picked a few key points. I do, and we'll talk about this a little later, but we did release a study recently. We really took a really specific look at some of the things that's going on within America and how businesses are really impacting their economies, as well as different small businesses, such as more specifically minority-owned businesses. But for this future of America, as you can see from the first point, according to the 2015 Census Bureau, racial minorities will constitute the majority population of the United States by 2044. Now that's important because we're talking about the future of companies' potential consumers, and that's not just large corporations, which I'm sure everyone can think of. These are also small businesses as well. When you're talking about selling anything from, you know, restaurants to maybe you know, clothing, to even when you're talking about selling to other businesses and other corporations, the outlook is going to look a lot different in only the next 25 years. So preparing yourself for that, and supplier diversity is a key component to that. So as you can see, we have a couple more points here. There's about 30 million small businesses. Of the 30 million, about 8 million are minority owned currently. And as you can see, the last point, which I really wanted to focus in on, we got this from the minority business ownership data from the 2012 survey of business owners released by the SBA, Small Business Administration. And it really talks about the breakdown of business ownership and then the amount of sales that goes to it. So as you can see, non-Hispanic whites make up about 71% of business ownership in 2012, but they account for about 88% of the sales. Now, if you go through each ethnicity, you'll see that while there is a portion that they are in terms of the percent of business ownership in America, the sales does not reflect that. That is an issue that again, with supplier diversity, which I believe is important to the future of America, obviously, supplier diversity can help to ensure that these numbers change, because as these populations grow, this is going to become a serious issue. And it can lead into, and we talk about this on this slide as well, the potential effect on the economy if the correct, excuse me, if the correct support isn't given, right? And I'll go to the big two pieces that we could see, you know, in only the next 25 years, which are, see if I can get my, there you go, my mouse there, the wealth gap increase and an unbalanced economic economy. So these are real things that currently we may be facing unless this trend changes. And one of the ways that we change and ensure that, you know, our economy is a balance in terms of impact, and that the wealth gap shrinks versus increase based on the unbalance of sales for small businesses based on ethnicity, is to figure out ways to develop minority businesses, women-owned businesses a lot further than where they are today, and ensure that we're supporting our communities a lot better. We are doing a good job currently, but obviously we can always be doing a better job, and this is kind of what we're focusing on. So as you can see, I'm at below that, small businesses account for anywhere between 44 to 50% of non-farming GDP. If this continues, as I said before, there will be a massive shift. Now, before I pass it over to LeShane so we can talk about his part, corporations and small businesses. As you can see, in an effort to grow with the trends of America's corporations and small businesses, again, here's a couple of ways, a couple of things that small businesses and corporations can focus on to ensure that, hey, they're doing their part to make sure that they're increasing their capacity in order to grow in the future. So with small businesses, increase your bandwidth with SaaS technology, and then understand your current corporate structure, and try to create that 5 to 10 year business plan, as things change. And then for corporations, obviously, implementing that supplier diversity program and connecting with small and diverse businesses to help you grow your sales and your potential talent pool in the future. So that being said, I'm going to pass it over to LeShane. He's going to talk about some of the things when it comes to that small business and how to automate and repeat.
Thank you, Jamie. As mentioned, my name is LeShane Greenhill, and Jamie, just so you know, Jamie is going to be controlling the screen. So when you hear me say next, you'll see him changing the screen. I want to give you a little bit of background about Salescocktail, a little bit more than what I said earlier. About 8 years ago, I started a company called Sagents, and we were working with corporations on helping train women and minority businesses. 50% of my daily job is sales, 50% is technology. I'm a technologist at the core of me. Sagents, or Salescocktail, I should say, came about when I started to realize that women and minority-owned businesses, we do not do a great job of using technologies that the internet has delivered over the last decade and a half to make us more competitive, more effective, and just more efficient in our day-to-day operations of our company. So 2 years ago, as a Google Fellow, I began writing a blog called Salescocktail. We focus on two subject matters: tech enablement and then growth or sales. And the audience that we speak to are women and minority businesses. The main purpose of what I seek to do is exactly what you see on your screen: bridge the digital divide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a few stats, and then I am going to show you some technologies, not a comprehensive list, but a few technologies I think you should consider using that can help you as a MWBE become more effective, efficient, and remain competitive, or outcompete your competitors. So today, why minority and women-owned business enterprises need to adapt SaaS technology to remain competitive. And we're talking about everything you see on your screen: email, calendar, task, and so forth. So Jamie, you can go to the next one. So let's look at a few trends or some stats. I want to focus on two. One is highlighted, and then I'll tell you the other one. You can read all of them, but if you look at number 2, mobile apps save small businesses on average 725 million work hours per week. That is huge. As a small business owner, we all know that your bandwidth is very limited. Your time that you have in a day is very limited. One thing that we always tell ourselves is, if I only had more time in a day, I could get more done. Well, the reality is we don't have more time in a day. There are only 24 hours in a day, and depending on how long you work, 8 to maybe 12 or 15 hours in the workday, just depends. But the reality is with technology, a lot of the stuff that you do on a daily basis, you can automate it and repeat on its own, thus giving you more time in your day. That stat right there says it all. The second stat on this page I want you to look at is number 5. Cloud solutions decrease small business workload by at least 42%. That is huge. It saves you money, it saves you time, it increases your efficiency, and it provides for what I believe is better security. One thing I do want to say, I want to demystify the cloud right now, because as small businesses and even as individuals, there's this mindset that the cloud is the boogeyman. And the reality is, if you're listening to the sound of my voice right now, you're using the cloud as we speak. And the reality is you've been using it for about 20 years now. Everything you do on the internet is in the cloud. The cloud is nothing but a fancy word for the internet. So we have to get over the stigma that the cloud is a bad thing and start embracing it for what it can do for our business. So next slide, Jamie. So that's the good. Let's look at the bad. 47% of small businesses do not have a website. That is unbelievable in today's arena. If I was sitting in front of you right now and I asked the question, if you got a card from someone at a trade show or a networking event, the first thing you would probably do is go to their website. That's what we do today. It's just normal. We go to the internet, we check out the website. So if we do that, if you're a business owner and you do that, if you're listening to the sound of my voice and you don't have a website, you should get one. Because you know the first thing I'm going to do and everyone else is going to do, if you tell me you own the business, is I'm going to go and look at your website. So that's a stunning stat to me. So that's bad. The second one on this page I want to focus on is number 3. 80% of small businesses still use manual integration. I won't go into detail about manual integration. Just know that with the cloud, with the internet, that is really no longer needed. So now let's look at some of the reasons why. Next. So three on here I want to pay attention to. Number 1, the majority of small businesses are unaware of tech that could enable growth. 37% said that they're not adopting new tech because they don't need it. And then 22% believe it's easier to do things how they're currently done than adapt new tech. These are some of the main reasons why small businesses do not adapt tech. But if you remember on the very first slide, no need to go back, Jamie, to the first slide. But if you remember on the very first slide, that was the first stat that said mobile apps save small businesses 725 million hours per week. But here are some of the reasons why some companies believe that that's not necessary. So here we have 3 sets of stats. We have the good, we have the bad, and then we have the reasons why. Now that we know all 3 of those, let's look at some tactical platforms that I think you should consider using as a small business. Next slide, please. So what you have in front of you is a subset of many platforms that I use on a weekly basis, monthly basis, me and my team to run my operations. I won't go through them all, but what I will do, Jamie, is after this, I have a list of platforms that I will send to you that you can send out to the attendees, and they can use this list of platforms. These are just suggestions that I put together on some of these platforms, what they do and why you should use them. So let's look at a few of these. The first one I want to talk about, everyone in here is probably familiar with it. Everyone in this call probably has a profile on LinkedIn. The reality is, though, most people do not utilize LinkedIn for its true power. LinkedIn is probably the greatest sales app to ever exist. It is free. You can use it to fill your funnel. You can use it to identify important people of decision-making positions, and you can use it to find great employees. It is what I feel the most underutilized platform that small businesses do not use. If we look at the one to the far right in the corner, the yellow Y, the green Y, that's Yesware. Yesware, we use it in our company to track every email that we send out. If I send Jamie an email today and it has an attachment with it, like a proposal, it lets me know when he opened it. If he didn't open it, it lets me know if he opened the proposal. If he did open the proposal, it tells me what pages in the proposal that he looked at. Very important information, powerful information from a sales perspective, and it does many other things. The other one that I'll go to, and this will be the last one because I know we're up against time, is X.AI. So if you look at the P that's in the black square to the left of it, you see a blue X. X.AI is my personal assistant. If I was to send Jamie, or if Jamie was to send me an email asking me for to get lunch, I would use X.AI to schedule that lunch. And the way that I would do it is I would reply to Jamie, copy Amy, who's my assistant. She's not a person. She is actually technology, artificial intelligence. and say, Amy, please find a spot on my calendar for Jamie and I to meet. At that point, the software takes over for me and communicates with Jamie on my behalf. He doesn't know it's not a real person, and we'll find a mutual time for us to get together for lunch. These are just a few examples of how we can use technology to remain competitive, eliminate redundancy, and become more profitable. So, as I mentioned, Jamie, I don't have time to go through all of these, but I will send you a sheet with these on them with an additional about 15 different technologies that we recommend. So this is just some. And next slide, please. All right, so at this point, I'm going to toss it back over to Jamie. He has all of my contact information. If anyone wants to reach out to me directly or through him for any advice on these different technologies, I'm more than happy to speak with you via email or phone. Jamie, it's your floor.
Yep, thank you so much, LeShane. Yep, so as you can see, these are the type of real-world solutions that we believe can help organizations and suppliers that are within supplier diversity help them grow, again, their capacity as well as their programs. So the last point that we're going to look into is utilizing data. So this is more so for the corporation's perspective in terms of how to utilize the information that you're gathering to the best of your abilities. So Quadrants of Success. This is more so a quick look at what we perceive to be how a company can measure their supplier diversity program when they're looking to connect with minority, women-owned businesses, veteran-owned, et cetera. So as you can see, with the processes that you're using, is it simplifying your supplier diversity process? Are you utilizing advanced technology, comprehensive database, customer service? One of the things that we do when we're providing solutions and when it comes to organizations like Supplier.io is utilizing these quadrants to understand their customers in order to improve their processes today and in the future. So let's talk about 2018 and kind of the review of that. I'm going to make this as quick as possible. I know we've got about 5 minutes remaining, but let's see if we can hit some of the key points here before we leave. So first up, again, 2018, a year in review. What is Progress 2020? So if you're here, it's really an initiative, formal initiative, where we're taking a look at supplier diversity and putting in measurable goals so we can understand the impact of this industry and see how to grow it, right? Because you saw the numbers about how by 2044, minorities will be the majority, and things of that nature. Small businesses are growing when it comes to and getting more diverse, whether it be minorities, women, veterans, et cetera. So understanding that and making sure that we're putting in measurable goals so that we can grow this industry. As you can see, we do it from 2 different ways: research and data, as well as supply chain analysis, so more so technology. Within 2020, Progress 2020, we do have accomplishments that occurred in 2018. This initiative did start at the beginning of 2018, and here are some of the things that we were able to hit in only a year. So as you can see with the research and data piece, we were able to release a minority business enterprise study May 1st, 2019. Again, that's where we collected a lot of that data that you saw at the very beginning. In addition to that, we were also able to do some things when it comes to the technology that we're providing to some of the customers. For example, as you can see, $24 billion in Tier 2 spend with diverse suppliers was tracked within our technology. There's a couple other things: $15 billion in Tier 2 spend, over 22,000 Tier 2 small and diverse suppliers reported within the system, and there's a couple of more as well. So really understanding supplier diversity, that's really what when it comes to when we're talking about the first steps of growing the industry, is understanding where we are as a community, where we are as an industry, and then growing that. That's really why we're trying to hit you with so many data points so that you can understand that. So 2 minutes, so I'll just quickly summarize this real quick. From platform to network, that's just kind of how we view supplier diversity and how it's going to grow. And in the beginning, it kind of just, you were utilizing one technology here, one technology there, et cetera. We believe it needs to be a network. So you're utilizing multiple technologies and they're talking to each other and interfacing to make your process a lot more simple. And as you can see, making supplier diversity simple, which kind of leads into that as well. So here are some of the technologies that we offer within supplier diversity that that can help those processes from a corporation's perspective. So as you can see, a tier 2 reporting platform, as well as some of the connected products within that, so registration system, data enrichment, economic impact, so you can understand your impact on the local economy, and things of that nature. So just a quick look at some of the companies that are utilizing our services when it comes to that tier 2, tier 1 platform or network management that we're looking to grow over the next couple of years. So with that being said, kind of had to summarize that. As you can see, if you're looking for, excuse me, different ways to connect with us and learn more about what's going on within supplier diversity, maybe an update on some of those data points that we presented, as well as if you're looking for more information on, if you're a small business, how you can incorporate some of those technologies that LeShane discussed previously, you can go ahead and contact him at his email. Or if you're a corporation looking for, some of these data points and trying to understand your supplier diversity program and how you can grow and improve, my contact is below that, Jamie White at diversityreporting.com. As LeShane said, I will be sending out that information for everyone who attended, just so that you have that within your, folders and information if you're ever looking to use them for your benefit.
Absolutely.
So with that being said, with that being said, thank you so much for joining us, and everyone have a great day.
All right. Take care.